Okay, so first of all, thanks for having me here. I'm Alex Kjorten-Griffiths, and this is a talk I gave for TEDx Stockholm a few days ago. I was really lucky. They basically flew me out from Shanghai to give a 15-minute talk. And, I thought, while I'm in Europe anyway, I'll swing by the UK to see my clones and go to some space conferences in London. The title of the talk, The Future of Space, I didn't really choose it. That's the one they chose for me. Don't know what I'll change it to, but yeah, if anyone has any suggestions for a better name, let me know. So yeah, without further ado. So, when I was a kid, I used to watch Star Trek all the time. I was totally addicted. I'd sit glued to the screen, watching the adventures of the Starship Enterprise. I'd even doodle starships in my school books until the teachers got really pissed. And more than anything, I really wanted to be Captain Kirk. I wanted to explore strange new worlds, go where no man had gone before and all that stuff. But you know how life is. Real life gets in the way. And yeah, this is, well, not quite me, but my kind of situation about 20 years later. By this time I'm in Shanghai. I have my own small real estate marketing company. Life's pretty good all in all, but something's still missing. And this is me about 6 weeks ago in front of NASA, where we had a really good meeting with them and finalised a $500,000 grant from the US government for a space organisation that I helped found. And I should let you know now, I have no background in science or engineering. I failed high school maths. I'm just, a bit passionate about getting into space. So if I can do it, and if I can get involved, believe me, anybody else can too. It all started when I got involved with an organisation that later became Space Gambit. We basically try to fund and coordinate hackerspaces to work towards building a spacefaring civilization. I don't really need to explain to you what hackerspaces are, so we can skip that. And by spacefaring civilization, we're not going to get to Alpha Centauri tomorrow, or not even next week. We're going to start off on Earth, building technologies that we can use in space, and possibly also have a dual use down here on Earth. For example, by understanding how to grow food on Mars, we can grow food in more arid environments on Earth more effectively. If we're lucky, we'll get up to Earth orbit. Right now the bitch is just getting it up there. The cost, the legalities, it's a bit of a pain. And one day maybe get to the moon, the asteroid belt, another planet, and eventually the rest of the galaxy. In why space? Well, we're messing up our planet pretty badly. And if we don't mess it up, what's to stop another asteroid hitting like the one that wiped out the dinosaurs? We need a backup. We need an Earth 2.0. Because if we're gone, that could be the end of intelligent life in the universe. And that would kind of suck. Another reason is spin-off tech. The work NASA has done has led to pioneering advances in prosthetic limbs, firefighting equipment, water purification, solar energy, loads and loads of cool stuff. And if you go to WTFnasa.com, it's just a whole list of everything they've done. For all the people who, moan about how much money we invest in space and why can't we spend it invading more countries, like we should be doing. Another reason, and if you didn't like the first two, this one will get you. Money. There's a group called Planetary Resources, founded by people like Peter Diamandis, who's behind the X Prize, James Cameron, the director, Eric Schmidt, Larry Page, all from Google. And they are planning to mine asteroids. Because up there's a load of precious minerals. There's platinum, there's gold, all locked away in asteroids. You mine that, and the billionaires who founded this company may have a chance of becoming the world's first trillionaires. And, the biggest reason of all for me is that exploring is in our DNA. you know, if we're humans, if we see an ocean, we cross it. If we see the moon, we go there. We can't just stop like we did after the Apollo program. And why open? Why makers? Well, this sexy machine is the Saturn V rocket. We can't have it today. Sorry guys, but one factor is cost, but the bigger factor is we don't know how to do it. The blueprints, the plans, they're all on obsolete hard disks or in dusty filing cabinets, maybe even lost. The people who built it are retired or have passed away. There's been no knowledge retention. But if all this were open source, it'd be distributed, it'd be replicated, and we'd be able to get this information back. You know, as it is right now, when we're building rockets, we're starting from a worse point than when we had the Apollo program, because we have to reinvent the wheel. Another factor is education. Open source is inclusive. We get everybody involved in building the next space program, including kids. You know, if we want the kids of today to build the world of tomorrow, which, you know, they will be, then they shouldn't be doing it in a hangover from the 19th century like the school system is, which focus more on creating factory workers than entrepreneurs and makers and people who do really cool stuff for society. Another reason is the Arduino and other technologies. You know, open source technologies mean a lot of cool spin-offs, like, yeah, the automatically regulated greenhouse, gloves that'll turn sign language into audible speech, laser harps, CubeSats, drones, chess-playing robots, and well, I don't have to tell this to you. But innovation and spin-offs lead to more businesses coming from those ideas, which means more jobs, which means more money for the economy, which we really need right now. And people ask, come on, are you guys crazy? You're trying to build a space program. Well, hell yes, we're crazy. Of course we are. I wouldn't get involved with this if I weren't. But Mr. Hewlett and Mr. Packard were crazy. Steve Jobs and Steve Woz were crazy. Hackers in their garages kick-started the PC revolution. And as for open source, the whole net's built on it and the economy of today. So already we've got 2 victories here. I want to go for the hat trick. Get a 3rd revolution in there too. And NASA, you know, we're not the only ones who think this way. NASA are setting up their own fab labs and makerspaces to connect with makers and citizen scientists. And a few months ago, a few months ago, the International Space Station was having major problems with life support technology, with the life support systems. They had to send astronauts out on a spacewalk, which is a bit risky, to fix this. Conventional tools failed. So astronauts' lives in the balance. A space station with hundreds of millions and years of international cooperation in the balance. So some of the astronauts, you know, they're makers too. They hacked together a tool out of an Allen key and a toothbrush and a can of nitrogen. And they saved the day. There are loads of groups already doing open source tech that is space related. We've got Open Luna. Their mission is to extend mankind's reach into space. They've been working on some open source spacesuits that maybe could one day be used by, you know, our first maker astronauts. And if we want to send astronauts up there, well, Copenhagen Suborbitals in Denmark, they're doing open source rocketry. Suborbital at the moment, but in a few years, who knows. And right now they're working on their one-man rocket with no escape system. So, you know, if there are any volunteers, let me know and I'll try to pass the word along. We've also got Liftport, who are working on building a space elevator. So get stuff up there cheaply and quickly on an elevator instead of rockets. And if we get there, you know, we want to do something like, we don't just want to go there and come back. A mission to Mars, like Elon Musk has been saying a lot, the guy behind SpaceX, it's likely to be one way. Because taking all that fuel would mean more fuel and difficult. So we need to really build a colony there. This is Marcin Jakubowski from Open Source Ecology. His group are creating the Global Village Construction Set, which is plans and blueprints and code for everything you need to kickstart a civilization. So for 3D printers, for CNC machines, for brick making machines, for an open source car, an open source tractor. I think they've got 8 or 9 out of the 80 things they've got planned for the kit, but they're moving along. And I'd like to adapt some of this for use on Mars or the Moon or wherever the hell we end up. It's not just people we want to send up there. We've got groups like NanoSatisfy. Oh, damn it, where's my little... Andrew, have you got the little green...
Not on me.
You put it down in the...
Hang on. No, I don't. Damn it.
Did you get it down somewhere?
I don't know, because I've got a mock-up of a satellite with me somewhere.
How big is it?
Like that big.
Nano.
Yeah. Oh well, it'll show up. Probably.
Downside number 1 of nanosatellites.
Yes. You lose them in your pockets. The first one here is a CubeSat. It's 10 by 10 by 10 centimeters. They're being developed now by universities, by I think maybe some makerspaces as well. And compared to conventional satellites, they're cheap, they're standardized, and they're basically open source. I think this is the ArduSat, so the guts are based on Arduino. And the one down here is called the KickSat. As I said, it's about yay big, and it's basically they got money from Kickstarter. They're planning on putting hundreds or thousands of these into space. They go around the Earth for a few days and then they burn up in the atmosphere. And they're going to get them up there by putting them inside a CubeSat. And another one is the... Actually, I can't remember the name of this. Yeah, it's not just humans. The Hacker Global Grid is an effort to develop a parallel censorship-free internet. It's being done by some guys from the Chaos Computer Congress in Berlin. Right now, I think they're working on the ground station, because still getting stuff up there is difficult. But yeah, it is actively being worked on. And if we were just doing a space program, well, governments can do that, private companies are doing that, makers have a place as well, but that's not our goal. In the end, we want a spacefaring civilization, so we need everybody on board. You know, we need teachers to educate the next generation and keep things going, marketers and fundraisers to get the word out and get money to continue the mission, scientists to tell us why our projects explode, engineers to help us stop them exploding, and obviously most of all makers to bring us your ideas. We'll be accepting proposals hopefully within a few months. We'll be giving out grants. The requirements for a grant are cheap. There's 3 things actually. Hang on. I'll bring up the more hacker space centric presentation. Damn it. Ah, yeah. Yes. Project requirements. It has to be cheap, 1,000 to 10,000 US. That's pretty much, we're on a limited budget, so that's all we can afford to invest per project. I know it's not a lot for getting stuff into space, but if you have a cool idea and you can build it with that kind of funding, you know, there are a lot of companies looking into investing and potentially spinning things off. It has to be fast, 3 to 6 months, no long-term R&D, because we really want to show this can be done. It's in part proof of concept, so if we can pull this off, Hackspaces will be proven to work, get more money in the future, we'll get more money to continue our mission, and open. Open source, open hardware, open documentation, open everything. Those are the key factors. Yeah, we do it via a grant proposal submitted by the community. That'll be vetted by our board of advisors who are scientists, engineers and business people. And competitions and bounties. And we're still working out, you know, what competitions we want to do. Yeah, that's basically it, and hopefully one day we'll be talking in a hackerspace on Mars or the Moon for a follow-up presentation. Okay, so yeah,
Thanks,
thanks
Mark.
everyone.
Does anybody have any questions? What's been done so far then?
Right now, we confirmed the funding in October. We're getting the money transferred now to the accounts. We're in the phases of organisational setup. So registering a non-profit in the US, we have to go through all the tax crap. I'm going to be heading up to the UK and Europe, so I'll be setting up a charity here, but that's later on. We've got the website up. We're doing some preliminary work on Maker Education platform, because Maker Education is a big thing as well. Yeah, Spacefaring Civilization, it's a multi-generational effort, so we need the next generation of makers to enter the education. But yeah, as for actually doing any projects, funding any projects, we're not there yet.
No, that's fine. How many projects do you think we'll be able to fund in the sort of 1,000 to 10,000 region?
We would be looking at one every 2 to 3 months, maybe.
Right.
1 to 2 every 2 to 3 months, depending on the budget. We haven't actually done one yet, so it's a bit difficult to say for sure.
But you're not going to do a load in one go, it's going to be more of
Yeah,
a space thing.
I foresee us starting out small, working out what works, what doesn't work, you know, iterating based on that, and when we get a few going, we'll understand how to do it, then we'll ramp things up.
Who's funding it all? Who's behind it?
It's DARPA.
Ah.
Yeah, but don't mention that to anybody, because there's been a bit of political blowback about DARPA investing in hackerspaces, so...
Yes, I've seen that thread.
Yeah. So yeah, basically they gave us the money and said, look, you don't mention us, and that, you know, if people ask, I'll mention. But don't mention us, don't contact us unless you really have to. Here's NASA, contact them, deal with them instead. And hey, fine by us, NASA are cool. Yeah.
What's your opinion on SpaceX and the whole commercial space travel, etc.?
I think, personally, the commercial is really the only way this is going to get going. If we want to build a spacefaring civilization. I mean, the cost of getting stuff up there is phenomenally high. And, yeah, the government could do that, but NASA's budget has been cut. Government can't do it cost effectively. And if you look at the Falcon launch cost, it's a lot cheaper than any other rockets are. Yeah, I'm really excited about the private space industry, and they'd be a valuable partner for us.
From the UK angle, obviously a lot of attention at the moment is being focused at reaction engines and the Skylon projects. Have you spoken to them to see if they've got areas or possibly even project ideas that they might be interested in getting people to come up with solutions for and look at? Because in the UK, you know, they've got a lot of noise and interest behind them. It would be good to...
I haven't been in touch with them actually, but yeah, I'll be moving back in a couple of months, so yeah, I'll definitely follow up with them then.
Yeah.
Just not enough time on this trip. Any more?
Everyone's busily trying to think of projects now.
Do you launch stuff from like weather balloons then with the microchip in or what?
We got all in space.
No, well, like, you know, helium balloons or what? No.
We might look at doing something like that. We'll see. I mean, there are some people who aren't a fan of doing that because it's not real space, but
Yeah.
you know, I think it's a stepping stone along the way. And I think JPL Aerospace or someone, can't remember the exact name in the US, they've got a huge program doing it.
JP Aerospace.
JP
They're
Aerospace,
the airships are all a bit lunatics, aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if maybe. Yeah, if you want to contact me, you can. Yeah, my details are here. Or I can give you my card. And yeah, thanks for having me here.